What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 138 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. What's up, dude?
Part 2!
Yeah. We're gonna bust this one out. It's gonna be a good old grand time.
That's the hope,
I'm excited for this. So for those who aren't aware, go watch last week's episode. We started a tier list for all of the returning Pokemon that are speculatively known to be in Scarlet and Violet, thanks to data mines and leaks and all that. So if you don't like leaks and spoilers and all that stuff, don't watch this video. We'll see you in like a month and a half with this video when the games actually come out, and then you're gonna have some concise information. This is the official way too early tier list for things that we don't entirely know everything going on.
Yep. Ad break starting in 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Did you just run an ad 2 minutes into the episode?
I mean, yeah. If they're still here, it gives people a chance to click away before we get right into it, because they may not want spoilers.
That's true. That is very, very true. So I'm assuming, thanks to some editing magic, the tier list is up on screen now?
It is.
Okay.
Before we get too far into this, we forgot Hisuian Arcanine last week.
We did. We are terrible at this.
If you didn't know, gathering 160 plus images is hard. Especially trying to find decent quality ones where they don't end up like this poor little Lucario with its ears cut off. But Hisuian Arcanine, according to what we know from Home and Showdown, it's got a little bit more attack, a little more HP, a little less speed, a little less special attack. Still has Intimidate, so it's still probably right up there in S. I would honestly, you could probably put it in high A, since it does have 2 4x weaknesses. But,
yes, but also along that same line, it's able to remove both of those with changing its ability. I mean, changing its type. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
It's just like, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to waste your Terra on your Intimidator? If you're playing like Justified, that's probably a much better option for you.
Turn into a dark type yourself. Take those hits, or something that like resists dark, but also removes all your weaknesses.
Yep, could easily do that.
I could see it. I could see it for sure.
Especially since it has more attack, that could be more of what Hisuian Arcanine does, is like, hey, I'm the justified attacker because I have Rock Slide.
the fact that it gets access to Rock Slide on base 115 attack and base 90 speed is very good.
Yeah.
We cannot understate that. That in and of itself is worth something. Adding in the ability to have Intimidate, plus like the other utility that like Justified has. Technically, Flash Fire is playable in some capacity. Probably not something we're going to see a lot of, but like you can turn into a grass type to be able to take the water hits, and then your Flash Fire, because that makes you immune to the fire attacks coming into you. There's something there, I'm sure. Nothing that I'm really going to be overly concerned about, but yeah. Girafarig, or Farragraph, is our stand-in here for Hisuian Arcanine. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's where it belongs. It's right on the cusp, I would say.
I would agree.
You have more weaknesses as a fire rock type than Arcanine does. While yes, you do have access to everything Arcanine normally does, plus some more. It's really going to depend on like how you play with it. Determines how viable it is compared to just regular Arcanine.
Agreed.
So we've got about
60 some.
7 times whatever 7 times 14 plus 1 is.
A bunch. my quick math says a bunch.
Yeah. It's probably just a little bit over 100 or just under 100, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there. That's probably about right. I don't have a calculator pulled up, so I'm not worried about an exact number. Let's just jump in.
Okay.
So we are starting with the the
Gen 4.
Gen 4 Pokemon here. First up is going to be Staraptor, which I believe is actually confirmed to be in the game.
Yeah, we saw Starly early on.
Cool. It is a flying type Intimidator, so it can pair well with like Arcanine as like having that double Intimidate core. You are both weak to Rock at that point, but like you also are ground immune, which can be good if a certain like Gen 5 Genie's in the game. You know, just like it basically, if you need something that can also be an Intimidator and immune to Earthquake, this is a good point. But like Gyarados also does that, and Gyarados also like applies a ton of offensive pressure, just like this does. What are our speed stats difference here?
Staraptor is base 100.
Okay.
So it's still pretty good. Notably, it has U-turn, so it can kind of pivot around and kind of jump around. So there might be like Scarf Staraptor sets with U-turn, Brave Bird, or some other like really strong attacks. People have talked about terrestrializing this to just be like super flying stab with Reckless and just OHKOing something.
Yeah, it seems very interesting. You know, like something that runs around in singles that you'll see is like Scarf with like Scarf Reckless with like Brave Bird. You'll see like U-turn on there for like quick pivoting. It has access to Roost, which can be good. Again, for like singles, you have access to Defog, you have close combat. There's a lot really working in favor of Staraptor. And I'm not entirely sure how good it actually is in doubles. My instinct says it's probably just a little too weak.
Base 120 attack, 70 defense, 60 special defense, 85 HP. It's probably fine for a flying type Pokemon. Like I said, like this is the pivot intimidator in the game because none of these other really intimidators have access to that. There's no Incineroar like Pokemon, and this is probably the closest we're going to get. At least on release.
Give Gyarados Parting Shot.
Give Gyarados Flip Turn.
Either or, you know, both of those are okay.
We've been asking for Flip Turn since the DLC got dropped. Come on.
Now, speaking of like pivoting intimidators, we do have Luxray as well. Having access to Volt Switch is very good, but like Luxray sucks.
Luxray's base stats aren't that great.
As I had,
it's not good as an Intimidate user, right? It really wants to kind of hang out and stick around for a while. Your defenses aren't that great. Your speed is really bad compared to some of these other ones. Like your base 70 compared to the base 100 of Staraptor. I believe Gyarados is faster than Luxray too at that point.
Yes, Gyarados is 81.
Yeah. Like the Luxray just really wants to be more of probably like a guts kind of abuser. Like you slap a Flame Orb or a Toxic Orb or whatever on this thing and just go to town.
I had Luxray last season in RTT for a few weeks, and I came to the conclusion that it was very bad even in low-powered formats. Take that good with what you will.
Now they may change something to where Luxray becomes a monster. Who knows? But for right now, I feel like Luxray would be a solid B Pokemon. It's better than most of these.
So far, the worst of the Intimidators.
Yeah, it's better than most of these Pokemon in C. Like, I think Luxray is better than most of them. But definitely not like your top tier Intimidator. No.
It's saying a lot when like the reason it's so high is because of its ability.
Yeah. Vespiquen can just hide. It's
garbage. It's literal garbage. Don't play this Pokemon. It's not good. It's not going to do anything.
It's got really good defenses. That's about it.
In my season-winning RTT team, I had Vespiquen, and the conclusion I came to at the end of that season was this Pokemon did literally nothing, and it was 2 points out of our 120-point budget, and it still didn't pull its weight.
Jeez. Pachirisu, this thing is gonna be a monster.
I mean, it's like one of our few redirectors.
It is, I think, only one of 2 Pokemon in the game at the moment that has Follow Me.
That sounds correct.
Because I don't think we have Togekiss as far as we know. Mm-hmm. The only other Follow Me user is Indeedee.
Yes.
But Pachirisu has a lot more going for it than most people give it credit for. You do have Volt Absorb, so you can kind of pivot into Electric type attacks for your team. Your base 95 speed, so you're fairly fast. You still have decent defenses too. You're not using this as an offensive Pokemon though.
No, this is like even more support oriented Raichu. You do lose access to Fake Out, but you get you have Volt Switch, you have Nuzzle, you have Follow Me. There's a lot to really like about Pachirisu. I think S is really high. I think we're really leaning in on its Worlds win. But I do think limited dex format with few redirectors, this is something that this is literally the formula that led to Pachirisu getting a win at Worlds. So
yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying based on the information we have, it's probably better than I want to give it credit for.
A big thing it has is also baby doll eyes. You have priority there. You also have access to Electro Web, which is speed control, Charm, Fake Tears. There's a lot. Helping Hand, even. This thing has the deepest support pool you could ever think of. And on top of that, it has Follow Me. This is going to be played because it has Follow Me more than anything else, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Floatzel. Remember right, this thing isn't very good, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's one of the only Swift Swimmers in the game. Base 115 speed for Swift Swim, base 105 attack.
But we're also looking at base 55 and 50 defenses.
I mean, you're not playing this thing to take a hit. You're playing this thing to blow somebody up.
I'm actually very curious how this pairs up against Parascuta. Parascuta, of course, has a very relevant ability in Propeller Tail. But we have more HP, 85 versus 61. Our attack is less at 105 versus 123. Our defense is worse. Special defense is the same. Our special attack is way higher. And our speed is way lower. So, Barraskewda was technically a Pokemon we saw running around because it has access to Swift Swim.
But it also had Dynamax to make it better.
And it also has, a good ability in Propeller Tail as well. So, this is probably a C tier Pokemon because people like it and they're going to play it. But in reality, I don't think this thing is good.
This is your Rain Abuser, I feel like. This is the best Rain Abuser you can get.
No, our best Rain Abuser is Rotom Wash.
I wouldn't call that a Rain Abuser.
You're probably not wrong, but...
Floatzel being able to double its base 115 speed in Rain makes it really, really good. But overall, the fact that just your Rain Abuser is going to go down to a ham sandwich most of the time if it gets hit means that it probably goes down to most double ups or most spread move plus whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of rain and water types, Gastrodon.
Hey, did you know Gastrodon's really good?
Gastrodon I feel like is a solid A, if not an S tier Pokemon, but Gastrodon really shines when you need to beat water types when water types are popular. And I'm not sure that's going to be the case this season because you can just change type to solve that problem, right?
I mean, it doesn't stop, changing your type doesn't stop Storm Drain from working.
No. Changing your type to deal with your water weakness rather than playing Gastrodon.
Yes. I will agree to that, but at the same time, Storm Drain is a hell of a drug, man.
I mean, when you have a bunch of water type Pokemon running around, it's great. Like Gastrodon's good when there's really good water types.
Agreed. Which is why you see it in restricted formats where Kyogre exists, which we will probably see at some point in Scarlet and Violet's lifetime. We will see a restricted format with Kyogre doing its thing, and then Gastrodon's just absurd.
Yeah,
But like base game, limited dex format.
like as you can see, we have 2 Pokemon up here in the A and S tier, not counting Gastrodon.
And like one doesn't really need Water Stab, and the other one also doesn't really need it. Like
Yeah, like one gets to play grass coverage.
And the other one gets to belly drum play rough you. Like
Yeah, like so Gastrodon's a good Pokemon.
it is very good. It is very much like Umbreon, where when it's good, it's absolutely insane, and when it's not, it's just it exists. Like people will probably still play it, and then like people are gonna forget what this thing does, or people are gonna see it for the first time and not know what it does, and you're gonna get got.
Yeah,
And you never forget it after the first time.
I can't wait to become a fire type Gastrodon and just absorb water type attacks.
Yep.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Yep.
Drifblim. Outside of being a really good Tailwind setter, I feel like this thing's not that great.
So
We got how many terrain setters do we have?
we have
confirmed?
Indeedee,
1, 2.
Pincurchin.
What is Go-Goat's ability?
Go-Go gets fur coat. Maybe?
Grass Pelt is the name of the ability. If grassy terrain is active, this Pokemon's defense is 1 point.
Oh, so it's bad. Got it.
It's bad. It's very dependent terrain thing. Got it.
Like here's we'll get there. We'll get there.
I was just trying to find all the terrain setters.
I mean, you can do like citrus berry things. You can do like weakness policy things. Driftblim's probably like a solid B tier.
It's like,
Its support move pool is really good. Having access to Strength Sap is a hell of a drug, man.
yeah, the downside is it's just like what you have in HP you don't have everywhere else.
Yeah, that's very true.
Driftblim suffers from I have really high HP but no defense.
And I don't think this is going to be one of those things where you see like manual terrains to make Driftblim better. I think this is going to be a thing where you see like you're going to see either very offensive Driftblims or you're going to see a very specific set of like support.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Driftblim's probably like a solid B. I could see it staying on that edge there right at the C tier.
Like it's either right here at the end of B, or right here at the top of C. My hot take
looking at the rest of the tiers, I think Driftblim is better than like everything in the C tier, which makes me inclined to put it up in B. I think is like the way I'm thinking about this.
The big thing
It has more of a niche than some of these other Pokemon, in my opinion.
Like the big thing here is I think we're putting way too much weight on Tailwind access in specific like fashion. Because
like,
Tailwind
how
was
many
so
other
important.
Pokemon have we talked about that get Tailwind? Like that is a relevant thing.
Like we put a high price premium on Tailwind because Sword and Shield had to put a high premium on Tailwind.
That's very true as well.
And I feel like the fact that your Dynamax move, your big 130, 140, 150 base power moves are moving first, that was much more important. Here, it's not. You're not doing that. You're not having to worry about making sure that your Pokemon go first all of the time. But if you can get a speed advantage for next turn, that's great. And you're going to be able to pivot around more. I just feel like Tailwind's not going to be as important in this next format. It's still going to be good, but you're going to see more teams doing the Trick Room thing, which that's going to be really hard to just stop a lot of the time depending on how people are doing it. And so I feel like Tailwind's high pedestal, we're putting it on too high a pedestal for what the format's going to be, probably.
Yeah, it's probably fine. You're probably right.
Like, it's like right here. Kind of like how Hisuian Arcanine's just sitting right here. Drifbloom's kind of sitting in this
Agreed.
little spot. Especially since there's only like 2 terrain setters to abuse your Unburden. Like, so you're really kind of stuck playing either Pincurchin or Indeedee, and if you're playing Indeedee Tailwind, then you're kind of doing the wrong thing probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Drifbloom was good when Rillaboom got to do grassy terrain, or when there was like ways to set terrain with other Pokemon using your Dynamax moves. The fact that there's less terrains, there's less way, like automatic terrain setters. The reason kind of just pushes Drifbloom down a little bit more. I feel like.
Agreed. I think everything you said is pretty spot on.
I have never played with this Pokemon, Miss Magius.
Let me do some digging.
Just gonna put it right there for a minute.
Its only ability is Levitate.
Okay, so it's one of these weird, I can levitate into whatever type and be really annoying.
So here's the thing. Our bulk is 60, 60, 105. 105 special attack, 105 speed.
Huh.
This is really, really weird.
So you have access to things like Mystical Fire,
Perish Song,
Thunder and Thunderbolt, Sucker Punch.
Like, Sucker Punch off of base 60 attack is actually a pretty okay way to, like, proc policies. Trick, Will-O-Wisp,
Skill Swap,
Taunt,
Zap
Ally
Cannon.
Switch.
This is an interesting Pokemon to say the least. You have Icy Wind, so you have fast Icy Wind on this thing.
Yeah.
Um,
We do get Trick Room as well, which obviously on a base 105 Mon we're not really all that interested in, but I mean, Skill Swap on a base 105 Mon is pretty appealing.
you also have Power Gem.
True. And like you're pretty offensive. Calm Mind is absurd on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dang.
Like, what could you do with, like, the fact that you have Levitate means that you can, like, terrestrialize this thing with, like, a Life Orb and do something cute. Is that good? It's not like Rotom good, right? It's not like doing what you're doing, doing the same thing to Rotom, right? Like, Rotom terrestrializing with the Levitate, becoming Mega Electric Stab with, like, Nasty Plot is really, really gross. Trying to do the same thing with a ghost type that doesn't really have, like, crazy coverage.
I mean, you also get, like, Pain Split as well. Does Mischievous get anything interesting? It's also, I mean, it's just 20 across it's just 20 points into special attack, special defense, speed. It's like, you're bulkier than Miss Magius with Eviolite.
Mm-hmm.
You're also slower. Your HP stat is actually the same, which is interesting. I don't know, man. This one's really hard, I think.
I think this is like, probably a solid D Pokemon. There will be somebody who plays it and does some tricky thing with it because it has Levitate and you get to kind of do that. But
yeah, like, this feels like the definition of a gimmick, and I'm not sure what that gimmick is.
Yeah. Haunch Crow. This thing has Super Luck, right?
Insomnia, Super Luck, Moxie.
Oh, it has Moxie?
Off of base 125 attack.
You about to say, is our attack worth it?
125 attack, 105 special attack, which is really, really bad. Like, when both of your attack stats are that high, it makes your Pokemon that much worse. Because, like, you have 100 HP, but both your defenses are 52, and your speed is 71. Like, this is one of those Pokemon that kind of just needs, like, a redesign, in my opinion, because, like, it's a really cool Pokemon in concept, but, like, you just lose 100 points in your stat. Like, your base stat total just doesn't do anything for you. It's not doing you any favors.
I was looking through to see if there was anything that was good with Super Luck. Not really.
No.
Night Slash, that's about it.
Yeah, which like again, as the singles player between the two of us, I've ran into, and like it's annoying, but
Air Cutter.
yeah, like that's it.
I couldn't find it. I was looking for Air Cutter for a long time. I was like, I know Air Cutter is another high crit move. Can't find it. There it is. Found it. So like, you could do some kind of cute crit things. I think Moxie's probably the way to do this thing.
Yeah, Moxie's very good.
Like Scarf Moxie, pick up a KO, just snowball could be really cool.
Notably, this is another Tailwind setter as well. With Murkrow specifically, this is very good because you have access to Prankster. Which, like, does that mean we put Honchkrow higher because Murkrow's good?
No.
No, but, like, it is important to note that, like, that is something that we have access to. I don't know, man. I think Honchkrow by itself kind of sucks. I think Honchkrow is, like, the definition of a D-tier Pokemon, where, like, people who like it are going to play it, but it's not good.
I mean, the Moxie is the set to play with on this one. Like, Moxie is going to be your catch-all. Like, you can Moxie Drill Peck things. You can Moxie Double Edge if you really wanted to.
And, like, with Scarf, you can really outpace a bunch of things.
You have Moxie Sucker Punch.
And, like, I mean, honestly, having access to, like, doing, like, Life Orb, Terra Dark, and then Sucker Punch people, that's going to knock things out.
Yeah.
Does this get access to Pursuit? It does. So, like,
if Pursuit's in the game, yeah.
Again, that's, like, obviously a big if, but if so, that's really interesting. I really wish this had access to, like, Serene Grace instead of Super Luck.
It wouldn't make much sense, though.
No. Like, thematically, it doesn't make sense.
This is not Togekiss.
Man, I wish it was, though.
We'd be talking about a whole different thing if it was Togekiss.
Yeah, I don't know. Bronzong's really good. This is like an A Pokemon.
Yeah, this is probably one of the cooler Pokemon to play with here. So Bronzong has Levitate, has Heat Proof, Heavy Metals, whatever. You don't care about that. But this is another Pokemon. This is probably going to be a premier Trick Room setter for a lot of teams. You have insane amounts of defense and special defense. You're probably one of the slower Pokemon that can set Trick Room. I think Slowbro's the one that beats you.
Let me look.
Slowbro's base 30. Yeah. Slowbro's base 30. Bronzong's 33.
Bronzong is base 33. Yes.
Yeah. So the difference here is you are Steel and Psychic. That's a very strong typing. You're immune to ground. You're neutral to fighting. You only really have to ever fear is Dark, Ghost, and Fire. Which, if you change to a Dark type, you have to make sure you don't get O-code. You probably won't get O-code there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot of things going for Bronzong. Gyro Ball's really good. If the game has Body Press is going to be really good on this thing. You have access to screens, you have access to Trick, Ally Switch, Bulldoze to activate a policy if that's something you're after, Gravity if that's really something you need. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I think this is probably the premier Trick Room setter.
I fully agree
of the returning
with that.
Pokemon.
Of the Pokemon that we know about currently, I think this is the best Trick Room setter at least the ones that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Like looking at the other ones that we've talked about, it's like Slowbro and Slowking, both of which are good. But Bronzong's typing is what really brings it over the top for me, I think.
Agreed.
Like it's a combination of typing, coverage, the abilities, like everything about Bronzong is just perfect.
Yeah. Spirit Tomb. Not
okay,
very
so
good.
here's the thing. Spirit Tomb won RTT twice.
Yeah.
In a row.
Yeah.
So like
but
it has a special place in my heart.
There's a reason it's winning those matchups is because it's one of the better Pokemon in a low-powered format.
Oh yes, it is very good there.
When everything is
and this,
on...
both of those seasons are also Dynamax seasons. So like this thing's really good. It has a base 35 speed. 108 in both of your defenses means you're very bulky. The downside is your HP is 50. So like a lot of that bulk is really just built into your defenses.
Yeah.
Both of your
Which
attacks
is
are
fine.
92, which are both of those stats are very good. Your move pool's really sick. You have access to like Destiny Bond, Foul Play, Sucker Punch, Hex, Shadow Sneak, Shadow Ball, Snarl, Will-O-Wisp, Taunt. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have Hypnosis, Icy Wind, Imprison. Do we get Tailwind? We don't get Trick Room, unfortunately. I mentioned Snarl. We get Rock Tomb. You get Phantom Force. We don't get Poltergeist, though, right?
I don't know.
We do. Okay, so, like, this thing's really cool, man.
Yeah, the unfortunate
the
part
downside is it just kind of sucks.
Yeah. Like, you can talk about its base stats all you want, hype it up, it's great. The big problem, like, I played with this thing in BDSP, and it just doesn't do enough when everyone's base stat totals are higher than yours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in a format where everyone's base stat totals are about the same and you're one of the high ends, you're really, really good. But when you have Pokemon that are 550, or like we have 600s up here in Tyranitar, Dragonite, and such, your base stat total kind of leaves you lacking. You kind of wish you had more. Because isn't Spiritomb like 485? Yeah. So you're on average just less base stat total than everything else around you. Mm-hmm. There's things that do your job better. And so it kind of belongs in D. You could probably push it up to C. It's just someone's gonna figure out how to break it, and it's gonna be hilarious when we do. But I don't think it's gonna be that great. Garchomp, pseudo legendary. Probably one of the worst pseudo legendaries we have.
Like, okay, here's the thing though. Garchomp's also just absurd.
I mean, it dies. You have to terrestrialize this thing. If you don't, you go down to whatever ice coverage your opponent has 100% of the time.
Garchomp is like the hardcore definition of a good singles mod.
Yeah, base 102
so, like,
speed.
Playing against it so much the last week has just been absurd. It's just like, oh yeah, I have Weavile, it's dead. Yeah. Like, I just had to preserve Weavile and, like, lose something to the Garchomp and then one-shot it.
Exactly. Like, hey, look, Weavile, down here.
Garchomp's very good. Obviously, being a pseudo-legend with, like, absurdly high base stats and everything means it's very good. Again, this is another Pokemon that, like, if its Mega comes back and we have access to the Isle of Armor moves, like, Scale Shot Garchomp is something that's been running around a lot on the, like, Natdex ladder, and it's, like, really cool. I've played with it a lot, and it's just like, oh, yeah, I just outpace everything, and now I one-shot you because you let me Swords Dance, and now I'm faster than everything.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen as much in...
Oh, yeah, like, this is also, like, again, pure singles talk, but Garchomp's still really good.
Yeah, Garchomp is great when you can protect it well, which that's why I mentioned you're probably going to have to terrestrialize this thing to make it safe. Just like you probably have to terrestrialize T-Tar in some shape or form at some point to utilize it effectively. Garchomp, having that really high attack stat, having that really high speed is really, really good. It's just you really have to protect it. You really have to be ready if something happens to it to be able to pivot to a new sweeper or something like that. It kind of feels a lot like Haxorus. Like,
except
this is
the thing, Haxorus is bad.
What I mean by that is it's like Haxorus is like a sweeper, and that's what Garchomp is going to have to be. And I think in VGC to actually thrive, otherwise you're not going to be doing anything cool with it.
Stab Earthquake is still really good.
Yep. It also
the downside is now everything can technically become immune to it.
Yeah, it's like if you're immune to the ground type attack, what are you gonna do? Like, what is Garchomp gonna do? Like, Togekiss was the bane of this thing's existence when it was running around. If you can either avoid, like, if you have Levitate and change to a Fairy type, what is this thing gonna do to you? Like, what are you gonna do to that Pokemon? Like, you have Dragon Stab and Ground Stab. Oh, looks like I'm clicking Rock Slide. and that was never the answer.
Like, this thing's still very good.
Yeah, it's still A tier. It's just
for sure.
This is there's a reason it's not joining the other pseudos.
But man, is it really close to being?
Probably another solid A Pokemon, Lucario.
Lucario's fine. I think A is probably a little generous.
This is your other justified user.
Which, granted, we do have Weavile and Sneasel coming up. They'll be like your beat up Mons. I don't know. It's probably fine.
Lucario, I believe, is just a little bit slower than Arcanine. Also just has Inner Focus and Steadfast, so if you wanted to do something with that, you can do that. Like, Inner Focus meaning you don't have to worry about Intimidate ever, meaning you can just sit up in front of something and they can't change your stat without really committing to it.
I really wish Steadfast would trigger if you switched in on Fake Out, and I'm mad that it doesn't.
Maybe they'll fix it.
That, like, you're being flinched, but because you don't get to attack, you don't.
It never shows
flinch.
Up. Yeah.
Like, I have always thought that was a weird interaction, but it makes sense. I think this is like a solid B. I think Lucario's just fine.
Hippowdon.
Hippo's cool.
Hippo's probably a solid B too.
Agreed.
Like, this thing's stupid bulky. It sets up sand. You can now terrestrialize into a rock type to get sandstorm bonus.
True.
This thing can become a monster pretty quickly.
It's really good. I like Hippo. It's worse T-Tar, but Hippo is bulky sand. T-Tar is aggressive sand.
Yeah, like Hippo is bulky sand. It has Yawn. You have Slack Off. You can kind of just sit there and be really annoying if your opponents can't do anything with it. In the BDSP formats, this thing was a monster. It was really hard to take down and deal with if you couldn't, like, take it out in 2 or 3 shots, because it'll just heal right back up before you can take it out.
We do need to remember, this was banned in Series 6.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Technically, it was banned in Series 6 through the singles ladder, yes.
Carl, you're adding extra information there that needs to be ignored to make my point.
No. Luminion. This thing
sucks.
So this thing's funny because it has access to Tailwind.
This thing sucks. It has Storm Drain too, technically.
It has Storm Drain. It has Tailwind. Its overall base stat is terrible.
This thing's atrocious.
It's not very good, but it's cool. It's very niche at what it does.
I'm off it. This is all you.
What, Abomasnow?
No, Luminion.
No, there was no more to that sentence. It was done.
Alright, cool. Are they finally gonna make Hail good?
So here's the thought process, right? You could just terrestrialize anything to be an ice type. Anything that learns Blizzard, just Terra type it to ice.
But you're telling me I can have Stab Blizzard on my Blissey?
Yeah.
With Serene Grace?
Sure.
Ooh, I'm suddenly on board.
Like, any of these Pokemon get to have Terra Ice if they're an ice type. Plus, they're not taking Hail Chip. That's the worst part about Hail, is it's just the ice type Pokemon that don't take Chip.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is because it's just ice. It's always been a real hard thing to build around. But obviously now we have safety goggles, we have Overcoat, we have Magic Guard. There are things to make Hail playable. But adding in the ability to just make another Pokemon just immune is really cool.
Like, there's a world where you could just tear Abomasnow into being a pure ice type. That is a line you can have. Remove your 4 times fire weakness, whatever. I am the firm believer that grass ice is the worst typing in general. Period. It is the worst dual typing. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Yep.
But I think there might be something to these hail teams. These kind of being able to turn my really good sweeper that normally isn't an ice type into ice that has blizzard or whatever to get 100% accurate blizzards and things like that. I think there might be something to that. We might have to explore that a little bit. Another ice type.
Weavile's sick.
Weavile's really good.
Weavile's really good.
Not as good as regular Sneasel in most situations, but still really good.
So, I've played, like 60, probably close. I played a lot of singles the last couple days.
Yeah.
Weavile's really, really good. And honestly, there's like a part of me that thinks it should probably be banned from like NatDex OU. It's really impressive.
The thing is this thing just goes down to any kind of attack that goes into it most of the time.
Yes.
So like,
upside, you're the fastest thing in existence.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
The fact that you lose inner focus is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, that's why people play Sneasel over Weavile, is because Sneasel still has inner focus.
Yeah.
Like,
which for singles is very good. In the case of in the case of doubles, that's very, very good.
Yeah.
Where Intimidate is extremely popular, where Fake Out is more popular. In the case of singles, that none of that really matters. You click, choice band pursuit, and nothing is able to ever live you ever again.
Literally.
Or you choice band knock off and make people sad. Or you're just, naturally lucky and never miss your triple axles.
Yeah.
That's another line.
Magnezone.
This thing's cool.
Probably a solid A. This is one of the very niche cases where terrestrialization this thing is really, really good. Because you really have really good stats across the board for Magnezone.
So Magnezone is again one of those Pokemon that was banned in Series 6. Thank you, singles.
Yeah. Banned my
like,
boy.
It does a lot. It has a lot really working for it. Thanks to Analytic, you're able to just underspeed everything and punch people. You're a Trick Room Mon that doesn't want Trick Room. You have access to Air Balloon. You also now have access to Terrestrialization, so you can get rid of your 4 times weakness. It's really, really cool. I'm excited to see how Magnezone really plays out. Now that, like, being accessible in a limited dex format, I think is going to make this thing very good.
Yeah, being coming in when Sword and Shield where it did, being like, oh, we're gonna bring it in on the Isle of Armor alongside Urshifu and all these really high-powered Mons, and it got to shine in Series 5, got banned in Series 6, and then you never got to play it again because Series 7 brought in even better steel types to the format.
Yep.
So having access to Magnezone at the start will probably change things up a little bit. I think this could be kind of just like this counter Trick Room Pokemon for certain teams. Because if they're going to set up Trick Room and their Pokemon are just naturally slower than yours, you're still going to have a slow Pokemon in Magnezone. It's very bulky, and your analytic boost will still go off because you'll probably be moving last still under Trick Room against those teams. Gallade.
Gallade sucks.
Yeah, join Gardevoir, wherever you're at. You have Justified on this thing, but it's not very good.
It sucks, man. Gallade's not good. Turn it mono fighting, and then you can get Justified and not take, like, neutral hits.
Yeah.
And then you can punch things, but nah, I'm good.
Or Big Brain and just become Dark type.
Also true, but I want super fighting.
Frostlass.
This is a Tauros enabler.
I'm about to say, there's your combo. They're right next to each other.
This is also your Camerupt enabler.
It is. Camerup's down here somewhere, though.
That naturally means Camerupt needs to come into B tier.
No. They can stay down there.
Frostlass is cool. This is like one of those Pokemon that you can slap on your Hail team and really irritate your opponent.
Yep, because you're never going to hit it.
You also have Curse Body, which is like a relatively okay ability. Your bulk kind of sucks at 70s across the board.
But you're an ice type, so that's expected.
Yeah, you're also a ghost type, which is relevant.
Yeah.
Snowcloak does make you immune to hail, so you can actually Terra into Mono Ghost, still be immune to hail, and then punch people for heckin' damage.
There you go.
I don't know if that's worth it, but that's something you can do.
What's our special attack base?
80.
80
attack, 80 special attack.
So you
Dude, it really sucks because I love the design of Frostlass, but as a Pokemon, it just really sucks.
Yeah. Rotom forms time. Rotom Wash.
Oh, good. You only put the relevant ones.
Yeah, I only grabbed the relevant
Rotom Wash
ones.
and Rotom Heat are both S tier.
I think in the terms of this, they are. Just because you can terrestrialize away their bad parts, because Rotom Heat really struggles against certain Pokemon.
Rotom Heat is, like, if you look at the other fire types we already have on the list, I would play it over them almost, like, a majority of the time, excluding Arcanine.
I mean, I would probably play Torkoal over Rotom Heat. Just saying.
It's so good, man.
Rotom Wash is the one that's always really good.
Obnoxious. Yeah.
Because the fact that your fire move is Overheat makes you worse.
That's the biggest problem with it. Why can't they just make it Heat Wave?
Because then it'd be really good. However, if you really want to be cheeky, you can Terra Fire, and then you don't have to worry about Overheat. You can just use Terra Blast Fire type over and over.
The downside is you still have to have Overheat on your moves list.
Yes.
So, like,
but it would also be Super Stab Overheat.
It's correct. It would melt people's faces off.
Like, that's probably an Oko somewhere.
Yeah,
as a
probably.
Neutral hit. Dark type Samurott.
I'm gonna go look.
I'll be honest. I have never played with Samurott. It's Torrent and Shell Armor. Okay, so Shell Armor is kind of cool.
Yeah, it does maintain Shell Armor.
Base 90 HP, base 80 defense, base 65 special defense, base 85 speed, 108 attack, 100 special attack. Could be really cool. You have access to, like, Sacred Sword, Knockoff,
SD, we get Aqua Jet,
Dragon Tail. That's kind of cool.
I think this thing's really going to be dependent on, like, a good move pool.
Yeah, it's going to come down to what's around it, what it can do.
Again, it's one of the this thing's bulk kind of poopy.
Well, I mean, regulars is also kind of poopy.
90, 80, 65. I mean, I guess you could just slap on an AV and then, like, your bulk's okay. Again, it's one of those Pokemon that suffers from having too good attack stats. Its speed stats kind of poopy at 85.
It's better than regular Samurott.
What is regulars? 80?
70.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so you
Why are you so bad?
You lose points in both of your defenses to have more speed and attack.
I'm off it. I would rather have regular Samurott.
I don't know, man. Regular Samurott even has less attack than Hisuian Samurott.
You still get Swords Dance?
I mean, I would rather have the 108 over the 100 might matter. You never know.
The problem is like if you're Assault Vest, you lose Swords Dance.
Yeah. So then neither one of them are good.
I don't know. This is probably like, a C tier. This is one of those things I need to play with to really figure out if it's good or not. But my instincts say it's probably not.
Let's talk about regular Lilligant, and then we'll talk about Hisuian Lilligant.
This is like a really good, like, Sun Abuser.
This is your Venusaur in this format.
But like also better because you can just like after you eruption people.
That's also an option. Like you have after you, so you can
Super
chlorophyll
Fire
things.
Stab Torkoal.
Yeah,
Holding charcoal.
Torkoal just pops off with eruption.
You're gonna one-shot Kyogres with this thing. Like,
so you protect Torkoal turn 1. Lilligant does its thing. It can do Sleep Powder or whatever. Takes a Pokemon away, so it's not you don't have to worry about it. And then you Terror type your Torkoal into fire. Click the After You button and the Eruption button. Win the game. Solve the format. Got it figured out right there. Outside of that, Lilligant has some cool stuff. If I remember right, it's got like...
It gets Quiver Dance, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's Quiver Dance. Isn't it Quiver Dance? Yeah, it has Quiver
I'm
Dance.
looking just to confirm.
Yeah, I already pulled it up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's Quiver Dance. You have Giga Drain. You have Encore, Synthesis, Charm. After You, we talked about already. If you really want to do it, you could have Grass Whistle. I don't know why you'd play that.
Hold on. We get Entrainment.
Yeah, you can chlorophyll things onto other things. That's already...
This is really cool.
Oh,
this is a grassy terrain setter.
Yeah, this is also like Lilligant also can do that.
It's not good, but you can do it. In all actuality, this is a Worry Seed user for your Slakings.
Yeah.
Unironically, it's good.
So, on the back side of that, Hisuian Lilligant, I believe, is actually faster than regular Lilligant.
But its typing is like 100 times worse.
Grass fighting is fine. Like, it's not like grass ice where you have a 4 times weakness and a bunch of other weaknesses because you're an ice type. Grass fighting...
Unironically, this is like the... Oh. I thought this thing was physical. I got excited. I thought this thing was a physical attacker.
I mean, Leaf Blade, Seed Bomb...
Yeah, but we have
Solar
60
Blade.
attack.
Hisui?
Yeah.
According to Showdown, that's base 105.
According to Cerebi, it's 110. Special attack.
No. I think Cerebi's wrong.
This thing is a physical attacker, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I'm not crazy. Okay.
No, it's base 105 attack, base 50 special attack versus regular Lilligant's higher special attack.
That's so weird. Okay, whatever. Cerebi, Joe, I know you're listening. Can you please fix that? Thanks.
So Hisuian Lilligant gains Hustle as an ability if that's something you're interested in. But again, the big thing is you just have Chlorophyll.
This is like your physical Chlorophyll sweeper.
Yeah.
Which is not something we've seen. Like, the next best is Leafeon.
Mm-hmm.
Which should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah. There's a lot that Hisuian Lilligant can do. I believe they're both probably fine in A. It'll be kind of dependent on what you want from your Pokemon, what you want it to do.
I figured it out. I'm just dumb and can't read how Cerebi works. We figured it out. Don't worry, chat. We got it.
Moving on, Crocodile.
Hey, did you know this thing's really, really powerful? It's a good intimidator.
It's a good intimidator.
It's decently bulky. It has good attack. Krook is sick.
Yeah. Now, is it like A level sick?
I mean, it gets paired with Frostlass, so.
Yes, this is another Frostlass thing here. We'll just do that.
Thank you.
We'll put them all together. The holy trinity here.
You're missing Camera
No,
Up.
Camera Up can stay down there. Camera Up can stay down.
No, Camera Up stays down there. He's bad.
Crocodile intimidates really good. Anger Point's cool. You do have really strong coverage in Earthquake and Dark moves and all that jazz. You have access, I believe, to all the Fang moves.
You should. I'd be surprised if you don't.
Oh yeah, the other one's a Moxie. That's the other ability.
We don't get Ice Fang or Poison Fang or Psychic Fangs or Hyper Fang or Super Fang.
I mean, those are fine. Like Fire Fang.
We get Fire and Thunder.
Thunder's fine. Yeah, those are fine.
Which, like, we don't need Thunder and we don't need Fire.
I mean, Thunder could hit the Water type.
Yeah, I guess, technically.
Base 92 speed's really good. Your defenses are okay at 80 and 70. Really good attack, really good HP stat. Like, this thing will probably see a lot of significant play. Just, it might get pushed to the wayside if other Intimidators become popular. Yep. Crystal, you can get out of here. We don't need to talk about you.
It does unite things. You shell smash and then chase after people and make them sad.
Yeah, it doesn't even get to do that anymore.
Well, I tried.
Okay, here's the big one I've been wanting to talk about because this one has the potential to be really nasty.
I had to go pull it up on CRB and make sure I clicked the button this time.
Hisuian Zoroark. This thing is base 110 speed, base 125 special attack, base 100 attack.
Oh, our bulk.
I mean, again, Zoroark was never meant to be a bulky Pokemon.
Yeah, it does get access to, like, you just have to put a sash on it, which is really unfortunate, but...
Yeah. But the big thing this does is Hyper Voice.
Can you put these into home yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know abilities then?
Yes.
So we know this still has illusion.
Correct.
Okay.
Like, you get to do all of your big special attacking stuff. Hyper Voice is the big addition here. You have big stab Hyper Voice off of this the Hisui Zoroark. You're immune to Fake Out now, so there's no clap ya and break your illusion.
Or they clap you and you're like, haha, gotcha.
Yep.
You also have a really cool signature attack here in Bitter Malice, which I really hope gets put in some capacity. Even if if they get rid of Frostbite, I think this attack's really cool.
The other big things you have here, you have Snarl. Being base 110 speed means that you're probably one of the faster Snarl users in the game.
Agreed.
You have Encore, you have Detect, Knockoff.
You have Flamethrower. You have Sludge Bomb.
If they keep the Isle of Armor moves, Burning Jealousies is on here as well. So there's a lot that this thing can do. I think it's a head and shoulders above regular Zoroark. Like, I think it's much better. Much better.
It's interesting. I'm excited to see what this does because I don't know. Where did you end up putting it? I'm missing it.
Hisuian Zoroark's an A just because of its typing.
Got it.
And then regular
Zoroark still sucks.
Yeah. Like, it's still going to be used because it's people's favorite Pokemon. It's not much slower than the Hisuian version at base 105, but you're also your defenses are still garbage.
Yep.
Sawsbuck. This thing is... Oh, this is Chlorophyll.
Oh.
This is kind of cool.
Huh.
Chlorophyll, Sap Sipper, Serene Grace.
Huh. I knew Sap Sipper. Huh.
This is interesting.
Alright, what do we get Serene Grace wise?
We
get Headbutt. So that's 60% chance to flinch. That's it.
Shadow Ball, if you want to do that.
Bounce.
Increased chance to paralyze. Yep.
Yep. Cool.
Yep. Cool.
Okay, so
Rock
Serene Grace
Smash
sucks. Rock Smash is 100% thin, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather Swords Dance than Rock Smash, but
I mean, hey.
Okay, so ignoring Serene Grace, we get Sap Sipper and Chlorophyll, both of which are good.
Base 95 speed, base 100 attack.
Bulk at 70 is fine. 80 HP. It's probably okay.
You have Mega Horn, I guess, if you want to try and do that. You have Jump Kick, too, as coverage. That's kind of cool.
You also get the sick Winter form. So, like,
yeah.
there's that.
That's the big thing, is you get to pick the variants. Like, you can just, like, find a really good shiny. I think this is probably, like... I wish it was better. This is probably still a D tier Pokemon.
Dude, the shiny sucks.
The shiny Sawsbuck sucks?
Yeah, it just turns, like, orange. Like, none of the, like, variants and the forms change. They're all the same color and everything, just the body changes color.
Well, that's kind of boring.
Off it. Alright, Sawsbuck, get out of my tier list.
Amoonguss.
Hey, this thing's really good.
This is probably up there with Pachirisu when it comes to redirection.
Yep.
Like, Amoonguss...
if you want to think of, like, Sableye as a form of redirection with, like, Quash and Fake Out and all its shenanigans, it's, you know, like, you could make that argument, like, hyper disruption is essentially how these are all paired.
Yeah.
Amoonguss is very, very good. There is a big rumor going around that we're going to get Paradox Pokemon, but none of that has been confirmed in the trailers yet. So, like, there's a non-zero chance that we do see those. And if so, Amoonguss is on that list to get a Paradox form.
Yeah, and
what that means for it, I'm not sure.
We'll have to see what happens and what it changes and things like that. But the big thing is Amoonguss by itself is still really good.
You're also one of 2 Spore users so far.
Mm-hmm.
Which might actually be the only 2.
Possibly.
I don't think a lot of Pokemon get access to it.
Not anymore, no. Not after they made it 100% accurate.
Parasect, Shiinotic, and Smeargle are the only other fully evolved Pokemon.
There you go. Avalugg.
There's a Hisuian Avalugg?
Yeah. It's not very good.
Hold on.
It's not very good.
I had to go do some research. It has a cool shiny.
Oh, yeah. No, the shiny is fantastic.
All right. What's the difference between the 2? Let's do some side-by-side comparisons. 95 versus... Yep. We have more attack in 127 versus 117.
Yep.
Defense is the same. Special attack is dropped. Special defense is dropped, but we're faster. Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh. 36 special defense is pretty garbage.
Yep. I believe with 252 and the right nature at level 50 with an assault vest, your number would be just under 150.
Let's see. I'm level 100 and I'm at 210 maxed.
So
yeah.
Hisuian Avalugg gets to 96. Add assault vest on there. It's not even 150.
That's so
Not to mention that while yes, you have a very high defense, you also are ice and rock.
As
the Hisuian
garbage.
Avalugg. So your typing is terrible. This would be something that you would want to type away from. You do have Strong Jaw as an ability.
Why? This thing's garbage. Get it out of my screen. Put it down there with Sawsbuck.
So having Strong Jaw means like moves like Ice Fang become a little bit better.
Sure. I mean, you had to be sturdy so you don't just die to Ember.
That is also true. But yeah, they're both going to be down here in D. Electros. I have no clue how good this thing's going to be.
You like it, so
I like it, but I don't think it's going to be very good.
Yeah.
It's one of these electric types with Levitate that's kind of cool. Your coverage is all over the place. It's got like Dragon Tail, and you have access to all the Fang moves. There's like fighting coverage in there. Like this thing's got so much weird coverage, but I don't think any of it's actually any good.
Okay, 85, 115, 80, 105, 80, 50.
Yeah, like
oof.
Your coverage is all over the place, both physical and special. You can do both. Like, it's just like really dependent on what you want to try to do with it.
You get Coil.
Yep.
You get all the punches.
Yep.
You get Home Claws. You get Knockoff. You get looks like just Light Screen, not Reflect.
Yep.
T-Wave, U-Turn, Volt Switch, Wild Charge. I don't know, man.
We're almost done.
Oh, we get Gastro Acid.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Did you see the tweet?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Giga squeezing at home. Just swap the Swallow out for the thing that's immune to ground. We're good.
We're better. Just who needs a Shuka Berry when we have Electros?
Exactly. Moving on, Haxorus.
It's like worse Garchomp.
I think it's a solid B, probably.
I think that's probably a little generous.
Someone's gonna break this thing because, like, Haxorus having Mold Breaker's really good. Lets you hit all these weird Pokemon that have all these, like, abilities that can cause problems.
I played against a Haxorus when we went to Collinsville.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It went for Sword Stance and then died.
It's base 97 speed.
Which is actually really good.
Base 147 attack.
76, 90, and 70 in your bulk is actually pretty okay as well. I don't know, man. Like, it...
I think if this thing gets a chance, this is probably just like if you Garchomp at home.
It has first impression.
Ooh, okay, that's kind of cool.
That's actually really cool.
That's gonna bop somebody.
Yeah, okay. You also get Guillotine.
You know, you don't play the local moves. You're not playing it for that.
But Carl.
You know, no.
Have you considered?
No. Poison Jab.
Scale Shot.
Close Combat.
Night Slash. Taunt.
Snarl.
Endeavor. Okay, hold on.
This is kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of off it.
I think it's fine in B.
Yeah, it's probably okay. First impression is really cool.
Bear Arctic. The Arctic.
Yep.
Fun fact. This is a Swift Swimmer.
It's also a Slush Rusher.
The problem is your speed is so bad, you can't really abuse it.
Yeah, base 50 speed is terra bad. Plus side, you have base 130 attack.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean for us, though?
So when you get to punch something, it hurts.
Carl, it's okay. We double our speed and then we use priority moves like Aqua Jet.
Yes. Because that's what we need to be doing. By Sharp.
It's really good.
Defiance really good. Who knew?
Downside, you are really weak to Arcanine.
Yeah,
like, I legitimately think that's like a thing to be concerned about.
Well, that's why it's an A and not S.
Obviously, there's a lot of other intimidators as well. A lot of which are much higher than this, and you line up okay against some of them. You do have Sucker Punch, which is obviously very good.
I'll tell you for free, Defiant Life Orb boosted Sucker Punch really, really hurts.
Yep, it does. It really, really does. Braviary, though,
I think it's about the same spot.
yeah, it's probably okay.
Braviary is one of those Pokemon that was really good in Sword and Shield because it had Dynamax Max Airstream.
Here's the other problem with it. It's weak to Hisuian and Arcanine. So...
That is true. Like, Braviary was really good because it had access to Max Airstream. You could do all this stuff, give yourself speed boosts because you're only base 80. Like, you needed the help to make Braviary good, and not having the max airstreams to make yourself faster means that you kind of struggle. Like, your opponent can kind of play around you. Like, I think Rotom outspeeds you. And so if you're trying to like outspeed other things, you have to really invest into your speed. And if things like Rotom can outspeed you very easily, you kind of just lose all momentum. So it's probably a solid A or B.
Yeah, it's probably okay.
Hydrated.
All right, time for you to rant.
Okay, so this is my current pick for probably the best Pokemon with Terastallization in the format in general. Because this is a weird Pokemon. It's got really high base stat total at 600 because it's Pseudo Legend. It has access to Levitate. You can immediately swap to a Steel type to avoid one of your big weaknesses in Dragon and or Fairy. Nobody really plays fighting coverage anyway, so it's just like you don't have to worry about that. But going to a Steel type, making yourself immune to ground, so you only have to worry about fire and fighting is really, really strong. You have access to just stab Flash Cannon anyway, so you don't even have to play the Terra Blast move if you don't want to. And overall, this thing just carries itself really, really well. Put Redirection next to it, this thing will probably sweep through teams pretty easily. Go Hydreigon, go.
Go Hydreigon. Cool. Yeah, it's like you basically nailed it. There's nothing really more I can add. This thing smacks and slaps, and it's so good. I'm very excited for Hydreigon.
It's good without the like gimmick running around. It's even better with Terastallization on top of it.
Yeah, it has relevant bulk. It has a good speed stat. It has absurd attack, like special attack. It's just good.
Yeah.
Like you said, turning this into something that checks fairy types is going to be impactful. The fact that you have access to any cover, like any type of coverage with this thing, because you have Terra Blast running around as well, just means that like its move pool is just that much better.
Yep.
We don't get like Sludge Bomb, right? We just get like. Oh.
I think Belch is the only poison type move. But if you're really worried about Fairy, you just play Flash Cannon.
Yeah, like I mean, you turn Steel like you said, and can like have Stab Flash Cannon. Then, I was thinking you could go like either way. You remove your ground weakness from whatever type you swap to. The thought process behind going Poison is that they're not going to go for a Psychic attack into your Hydreigon the turn you terraform, and can like then one shot them with like Dark Pulse or whatever.
Yeah,
or like remove their other threat next to them, and then outspeed and take out their Psychic type or whatever.
It then becomes down to which do you value more. Like you resist Psychic still as Steel, so it's just like if they it's fine. Like your resistances as a Steel type are much more impactful than your resistances as a Poison type. So it's kind of dependent on what you want to do with it. If you do go the Poison, you will have to play the Terra Blast to have a good Poison move.
Very true.
So, Volcarona, the Sun, Mothra, whatever you want to call this thing.
It's really, really powerful.
Is it a really good redirector, or is it just like kind of meh because it's Firebug?
Oh god, I forgot it has access to Rage Powder.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
big thing is like it has access to Rage Powder,
I was
but
thinking like just like Flame Body offensive stuff. Holy cow, yeah.
the problem is your typing, right? You're a bug type. You really have to terrasilize this thing to take full advantage of that.
I
This would
love
be
how we said we weren't really gonna like consider terrestrialization, and then
that's
like
why
the
it's not
mons.
S. Like if you take terrassilization in, it's probably an S type Pokemon.
Yeah, but like also Hydreigon's as high as it is because of it. It just makes me laugh.
Hydreigon is still good, like without
Agreed. And like
terrassilization.
Volcarona is also very good.
It's just not. It's not Arcanine, Dragonite, T-Tar good. It's probably
Getting to redirect physical attacks into your flame body is really powerful.
yeah. Until someone walks by with Rock Slide and then just makes your day sad.
And then you're sad.
Which, fun fact, Rock Slide's a very common move to have.
Which is why you turn ground type.
See, and then that's where your bonus points come in. Is that's where it would become an S type,
Yeah.
S tier Pokemon, things like that.
Oh man.
We're in Gen 6 finally.
Yep, we're getting somewhere.
Chestnut.
God, we still have so many.
Yeah. I don't know what this. I love this. Oh, it's bulletproof. That's what it is.
Yeah, Chestnut sucks.
Immune to bullet moves. What counts as a bullet move?
God, there was one I ran into on singles the other day, and I'm just like, what? How? Okay. Because I got by Komoo. I can't remember. Give me 2 seconds. I'll pull up my team and I can tell you.
Looking over Chestnut, it's cool. It's not good. Rock Slide's cool. Spiky Shield's cool. You have access to Thunder Punch, Sludge Bomb if you want to run that for special coverage. I believe Poison Gem's on you too.
It was Weather Ball.
Weather Ball. Yes, Weather Ball does count as a bullet move. Oh, this thing is Belly Drum.
I still don't think it's good.
Belly Drum base 88, 122, and 75 respectively.
Yeah,
I could see a world where somebody does something with this, but for now we're just gonna leave it down here.
I'm off it.
Delphox.
It's Victini, but worse.
You can steal everybody's item. That's what it does.
I mean, 100 special defense is not bad.
75, 72, 100, 104 speed.
104 speed's actually pretty relevant, too.
You're outspeeding Garchomp.
And we have D-Gleam to actually threaten it.
Yeah, because you are a psychic type that has fairy coverage now. You also have access to, I believe, Mystical Fire.
I know we have Will-O-Wisp. Mystical Fire was a Gen 7 move or Gen 8 move?
Gen 7. Yep, there it is. Found it.
I'm just missing?
It's probably down in usually useless moves.
Oh, okay.
Overall, though, I don't think it's going to be too great. You have fast Will-O-Wisp, you have Switcheroo if you want that.
I am excited to try this. It's really cool as a Pokemon.
Yeah. Greninja.
Can I rank this based on singles?
No.
Can I rank it based on Ash Greninja?
No.
It's fine.
It's fine. Like it's not gonna be. It's not the game breaking thing like everybody thinks it is. Protein's really cool, but you're not breaking the meta with this thing. Like your protein ability is as limited as whatever coverage you have. So if you Terra type, here's the funny thing: is like you could Terra type to change your type,
and then remove your type
and then remove your typing with protein. God, how feel bad would that be?
My head hurts.
Oh my goodness. So it gets cleverer, right? So Terra Blast only changes type when you're terastallized.
Is it otherwise just normal?
Otherwise it's a normal move.
Sure, man.
So here's the clever thing is you can terastallize and then change your type. and then use Terra Blast to change it back to your Terra type, and you could play this "oh, you can't hit me" game and try to like pivot around it until they just decide to hit you with a safe neutral move and take you out.
Dude, have I mentioned how like absolutely insane Ash Greninja is?
Yeah, there's a reason no one gets to play with it.
Dude, it's a base stat total of 640.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Talonflame.
Is pick up a KO. Talonflame's like our premier Tailwind setter next to Murkrow.
Yeah, Talonflame having Quick Guard means that you can't click Fake Out into it. We also have the new ability, new item called Covert Cloak, which can kind of help you get away with it. You will lose your Gale Wings boost, though, through that, but Talonflame's really fast enough, it's probably fine.
I mean, I would still rather probably just have Quick Guard in that instance.
Yeah, like Quick Guard means you get to keep Gale Wings, or Protect, yeah. But like, this thing is probably going to be the Tailwind setter of choice for most people. Gale Wings is a really good ability. Depending on how moves work, like there'll be like Acrobatics, Dual Wing Beat, Brave Bird. You have access to Roost, Tailwind, Will-O-Wisp. If you're like your base 126 speed, so you're really, really fast too. There's a lot to like about Talonflame. I think this is going to be, like I said, probably the premier Tailwind setter in the format. Probably a good support Pokemon of a lot of these hyper offensive teams as we start this format.
Yep, it's really good.
Pavilion has Shield Dust. That's all it does.
Yep, it's not very good. Does it get Spore? It does not. I already
No, it's Sleep Powder.
Litleo, Pyroar, and Pyroar.
What does this thing do?
Unnerve and Moxie.
Moxie off of base 68 attack. I'm a pass.
Look, man, I'm trying here. You get Hyper Voice, you get Stab Hyper Voice.
Does the gender on this Pokemon matter? Or is it
purely... It only matters for rivalry. Otherwise, it's just form.
I'm about to say, is it just purely cosmetic, or are they considered like different stats?
I don't think so.
So it's purely.
I don't think they did that until Indeedee.
Yeah, so it's like it's not Indeedee like.
I don't think so. I'm gonna confirm just to cover my bases. But like Showdown doesn't have them listed separately, so I'm gonna say no.
Pyroar, you can stay down in D tier. You don't really do anything.
No, stats do not change.
So, Florges is an interesting one.
Heckin' bulky.
Yeah, like this is super bulky. Really bulky on the special side. Really good special attack to boot. Defense is 68, HP 78, speed 75. Flower Mail is a very interesting ability. Grass types can't have their stats inflicted, have stats lowered or status inflicted by other Pokemon. So like you can't you can't paralyze, you can't sleep, you can't do anything to your grass types. They can't do anything to your grass types, which is kind of cool.
Also has a 6/6 shiny form.
Yes.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Also has Symbiosis, which can be kind of cool. Like you can have an item on here for later, and then when something uses it, say it's like a berry or anything like that, Symbiosis will give its item to the ally. So, say Florges is just holding onto a Life Orb for somebody. Here you go. Pass it along.
All right, eat your citrus berry, now go attack.
Like, I spent the turn clicking Swords Dance or Agility, and I took half my health, and I ate my citrus berry. Okay, now I have the Life Orb. Now I can take off and do whatever.
Or I belly drummed.
Yeah, like, the insanity with what you can do with Florges is cool.
It's really cool as a Pokemon. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I think just being a huge special defensive wall is really impressive. I don't know if that's enough to make it carry over to like how good it can be.
I think it's probably at least a solid C. You could probably argue it into B. Its move coverage is kind of weird. you have things like Heal Bell, Endeavor. You have Synthesis, so you can just kind of just sit there and heal up over and over. I'm not sure if we get Toxic still or not.
Probably not. If I was a betting man, most Pokemon lost access to it because of it not being a TM anymore. Which honestly, I think is a pretty good change.
Flower Shield raises defense by 1 of all active grass types.
That's a attack, correct?
That's a special. It's a status attack.
Oh yeah.
But so if you Terra type yourself to grass, your Flower Veil means you also can't be statused.
Which is really cool.
That is kind of cool. I don't know if it's worth it, but that's kind of cool. You have access to grass moves too, so it's not like you're putting yourself out. Tearful looks really cool. You have access to Worry Seat, so you can change abilities if you need to.
Oh, here's our pairing for Slaking. Got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that joke every time for the record.
This one actually might.
But like, actually, yeah, it very well could be.
Like, this actually might have merit. I'm gonna leave it at C, but I think it's really cool. Go. I don't think you do anything, bud.
Okay, so you have access to Grass Pelt. The downside is like you need grassy terrain to be active to make it work, which as a result means you're playing at least another grass type to set terrain for you, which is really bad. Or worst, you're playing grassy terrain on this to give itself a boost. That being said,
you're using Florgrass to set grassy terrain for you.
Which, I mean...
That's kind of cool.
Then you can also be like Grassy Seed, because that is a stat boost. This is a stat multiplier. So then like you get a 2.25 times boost to your defense.
Yeah.
Which honestly makes it pretty relevant. Like you'd go from 62 to like 130-ish. Like that's really good defense. Downside, that's a lot of setup to get defense for a few turns.
Exactly. It's not worth it. You can stay
plus,
in D.
Like our move pool is pretty whatever.
Pangoro.
I want Pangoro to be good, man.
I know you do.
It sucks.
Yeah, like you've got really good attack, and Mold Breaker and Iron Fist. Oh yeah, this is the scrappy Pokemon, isn't it? Yes, It is. But you're also a Dark type, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, you can close combat Spirit Tombs.
Cool.
It's something I've seen happen.
I doubt that's going to be the big worry for most people, but
RTT is a weird format, man.
Yeah. Pangoro can kind of stay in D tier. Clawitzer, this thing got better because there's things like Terrain Pulse now, which work with Mega Launcher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's enough to make it good.
Probably not.
Probably not. But you never know. We'll have to see how Terra Blast counts, won't we?
I'm hoping that'd actually be really good.
That would make it really cool, but we'll have to see how that counts. Sylveon feels like a solid A Pokemon.
I mean, you get to proc some policies. And now you can proc policy on anything.
Yeah. Anything can become weak to Fairy, and you can activate your policy and just pop off. That's really, really cool.
I'm so glad I already have my shiny.
Same. We're ready to go.
Yep.
Hawlucha.
This is another Tailwind Pokemon according to Showdown.
It does not have Tailwind.
Well, I tried.
This is another Unburdened Pokemon, but again, that kind of fits in the same theme. I don't know. Like, I don't see Hawlucha doing anything crazy. Like, Hawlucha was cool, again, with Dynamax, being able
really
to do stuff, but not having Dynamax means you really need to, like, Terra type this thing to do something, and I'm not sure if that's just worth it or not.
Yep, agreed.
Dedenne doesn't do anything.
Agreed.
We're gonna come back to the Goodras real quick. I want to talk about Noivern.
It's
This is your other Tailwind Pokemon. This is a very fast Tailwind user.
that's true. That one is true.
Also has things like I think like Snarl. Has Frisk as an ability is really good. Just slower than Talonflame, but I think your stats overall are a little bit better than Talonflame's. So
It's pretty close, yeah. I think you being a dragon really gives you that boost.
Boom Burst is really good. You could terrestrialize this thing into a normal type next to whatever ghost type and just boom burst things down.
Yep.
That's really scary to think about. Gudra's Hisuian Gudra is probably an S tier Pokemon.
I need to look up this thing because I've heard a lot of talk about it.
Hisuian Gudra is definitely interesting. If I remember correctly, its defense is better. And
It also becomes steel type, right?
yeah, we become Steel Dragon. Our attack and defense are both base 100. Our special attack's base 110. Our special defense is base 150. 60 speed, 80 HP. We are a bulky boy.
Okay, as of now, abilities are Sapsifter, Overcoat, Gooey.
Yeah, the Overcoat's kind of cool.
really, really good.
Sap Zipper's also fine.
Yeah. Sapsifter means that after one boost, your attack is going to be much higher than your special attack.
Yeah.
What does our physical move pool look like, though? We have all the elemental punches. We get Iron Head.
Yep. Body Press if it's in the game.
Yeah, but that's not a physical move.
I mean,
it is, but it's not.
The big thing is you could turn this thing into a super wall with Gooey, and they just can't touch you. Like if they touch you, they risk losing their speed. You have access to Curse. Its signature move is called Shelter. I'm not sure if that's going to be in the game or not.
So, if I'm reading this correctly, it raises your defensive stats and makes them more likely to miss. So, like, lowers their accuracy.
Increases your evasion, probably.
Yeah, most likely. But that's still really absurd.
Yeah. Regular Gudra probably is an A tier. Like, it struggles in terms of your regular defense. You also just, like, hydration isn't as good of an ability as Overcoat is, so you're really like reliant on playing like Sap Sipper and eating grass type attacks, which if that's what the format comes down to, that's really good. But
we need a grass move that can hit all Pokemon.
Yeah,
we need Grass Surf.
On to Gen 7, Hisuian Decidueye.
Another one I need to look up.
Yeah. This is another grass flying. Grass fighting type.
112 attack, 95 special attack, 60 speed, garbage. Literal garbage.
I think the trade-off is like you get all of your normal like flying and grass moves because you're a Rowlet and then to a Dartrix. But beyond that, I think it's just like not that great.
Alright, so we have +5 attack, +5 defense, -5 special attack, -5 special defense, -10 speed to go +10 in HP.
Yeah, that's not very good.
Off it. Drop it. Nope. Out of here.
Gumshoes.
It's really bad.
But to say it doesn't do anything, right?
Not to my knowledge. I will confirm.
It has Stakeout. I remember that.
I don't know what that means. This Pokemon's offensive stat is doubled against a target that's switched in this turn. That's kind of cool.
Oh, it also has adaptability.
Which is also just probably better.
Base 110 attack.
Base 45 speed, sir.
I mean, Trick Room, sir. You have Earthquake.
You have U-turn. You have Yawn.
You have the punches. You have
Pursuit
Iron
if
Head.
it's back. Strong Jaw Crunch.
Man, imagine going adaptability after Terra typing to Earthquake and just mowing people down. Like,
Adaptability plus is kind of gross.
yeah, like you could adaptability, mega normal, whatever. That's kind of cool too.
Quick attack.
I would assume so, right?
I'm not seeing it.
I don't see it either.
It's like, dude, you can just like Terra into normal, get your like 3 times stab boost, plus adaptability, plus life orb or silk scarf, and just quick attack things and one shot them.
Yep. Crabominable. I don't remember what this thing does.
Nothing.
It is another Anger Point Pokemon.
Fighting ice with Hyper Cutter and Iron Fist.
So fighting
base
ice.
132 attack.
Fighting ice means that you aren't worried about rock or
True.
steel.
True.
They're both neutral, which is cool. You have a
Ice
lot
doesn't
of
remove any weaknesses from fighting, though.
No, of course not. No, ice is only resists ice.
Ice sucks, man.
Oh, it's terrible.
They really need to rework this thing.
Does Crabhammer count as a punching move?
No.
Darn.
Just like close combat doesn't.
Well, we were gonna play Power Punch for our fighting move. That's what we were going
True.
to do. But
Do
I
we
was
get,
like,
do
I
we
was
get
looking for
Mach
punches.
Punch?
I
No.
would be surprised if we do. We get Dynamic Punch.
This thing sucks.
Yeah, it's not very good. Oricorio.
I don't know what these do.
Believe the ability is called Dancer.
It is, which copies dancing moves. So you can double quiver dance in one turn.
Yeah, you could do like Quiver Dance.
Or Swords Dance.
Or Swords Dance, Teeter Dance.
I'm looking up what moves classify as it.
There's this signature move called Revelation Dance.
Feather Dance, Fiery Dance, Dragon Dance, Lunar Dance,
Ooh.
Petal Dance, Revelation Dance, Quiver Dance, Swords Dance, Teeter Dance.
Quiver Dance is the really good one because you have a base 98 special attack and base 70 defenses.
I mean, Dragon Dance is also no slouch. Like,
But Dragon Dance is off your base 70 attack. And like your signature move's special, a lot of your other moves are special. Your physical pool is very limited. You have Quash. That's kind of cool.
okay.
Base 93 speed, you might be able to get that off.
I also get Helping Hand.
This is interesting.
I remember, longtime members of the community will remember Slacking. And in Gen 7, he played Oricorio, and I don't remember what he was doing with it.
We'll have to go hunt him down.
He literally just messaged me today, actually. I was just talking to him not too long, like before we started recording.
Yeah.
I gotta remember.
We'll come back.
It was
to
something absurdly gimmicky.
It had to be Quiver Dance. That's the only thing I can think of that would be
It has to be, but I don't remember. It might have been next to Volcarona, because then you can Quiver Dance plus like what does this thing actually do? You can like Quiver Dance into Revelation Dance, and then next turn Fiery Dance, Revelation Dance.
That's kind of cool.
Like, it's really cool. I don't know if it's good.
Gonna do the Lycanroc forms real quick. Dusk is probably C tier because it has tough claws. The other two are probably D tier because they just don't do anything.
Yep.
Toxapex, it's not a Pokemon that does anything.
Speak for doubles. Singles, it's absurd.
I am speaking for doubles. Because that's what this is the VGC tier list.
Doubles, singles, it's absolutely absurd and probably should be banned in that dex. But what do
Mudsdale, probably a solid B tier pick.
Mudsdale's cool. It was a Pokemon that really benefited from Dynamax, and I'm sad to see it, kind of fall off.
It's still really good. It's just not going to be as good, probably.
I keep trying to think when we're going to get to Gen 8, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is a Gen 8 Pokemon.
Not quite. We're almost there. Lurantis, probably a strong C tier pick. Contray's really cool. Real good Trick Room Mon. If Intimidate's popular, this thing is going to probably see a lot of play on Trick Room teams. Outside of that, that's about it. Yep. Serena, probably a solid B tier or low A tier.
I love Serena.
I
don't know if it's good here, but I love it.
Queenly Majesty is really good. It helps you avoid all your priority moves. This would be like the perfect pairing next to like Talonflame. Being able to hit the rock and water types while also protecting it from fake outs, so you can just do your Tailwind thing on turn 1 without fear of getting interacted with. Outside of that, its speed is kind of meh. Its bulk is kind of middling compared to some other Pokemon, and it's a grass type, so you have a lot of inherent weaknesses. Gliscopod's not very good.
Nope.
With Greninja, we have Palisand things, but I don't know if that's like good or not, because Palisand again benefited from Dynamax a lot.
Yep.
Mimikyu.
If Bronzong's not the best Trick Room setter, Mimikyu is.
Yeah. It is really, really good. Disguise is just a really strong ability. You can now change yourself to be Mono Ghost or Mono Fairy and just bully people around because you can do that.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Bruxish is the other anti-priority Pokemon, right?
And then we have a new ability as well.
Yeah, we have the whatever from Farigiraf.
Bruxish sucks.
Yeah, it's not very good. Okay, so Delmise is cool.
Delmise can finally be a steel type.
You can finally make Delmise a steel type. So Steel Worker plus steel type plus whatever. I don't know how that actually is going to work.
It's probably still not very good, but it's cool.
I need to read how Steel Worker works. The offensive stat is multiplied by 1.5. So it doesn't say steel type is stab. It's multiplied by 1.5 while using a steel type attack. So if you were to change to a steel type, you get another 1.5 on top of that.
Interesting.
And if I remember right, Anchor Shot is steel type. Yeah. Like, you can lock people in.
Or just one-shot them. That's also fine.
Yeah.
You also get Gyro Ball with your base 40 speed.
That's pretty good.
You also get Heavy Slam, and you're a very fat Pokemon, if I remember correctly.
I mean, you're a possessed Anchor, I'm assuming so. This thing might have merit. There might be somebody playing this somewhere. Trick Room.
463 pounds. That's
pretty big in the world of limited regional dexes. Speaking of big Pokemon, Greedent.
Shoutouts to Mr. Santacos.
Greedent's probably a solid B pick.
It's probably fine.
Like, this is probably just about as much of a Belly Drum user as Azumarill is.
This one doesn't get priority, though.
No, but Greedent also gets to heal itself fully.
Also true.
Like, whereas Azumarill's kind of like, I only get to heal myself to like maybe 66%. Greedent's like, I'm gonna heal the rest of the way, and we'll be fine. Corviknight, Mirror Armor's really good into Intimidate. Steel Flying is very strong typing. Its stats are kind of middling. So I'm not sure how good this thing will be, but C's probably fine for
really
it.
cool.
Dreadnought, another Swift Swimmer. Another Pokemon that probably was only good because it had access to Dynamax or Gigantamax.
I mean, also has Strong Jaw and Shell Armor, both of which are fine abilities.
It's just no one's going to be probably playing
Yeah,
it for
the thing is, like, this thing just sucks.
Colossal, no longer the powerhouse as it was in Sword and Shield. Probably a solid... Like, this is probably fine in this Terra format. It's not going to be... It's like... The thing that made Colossal good was the G-Max. When the G-Max is gone, its special attack is only base 80. You have... Like, you want to get hit by a water-type attack, but you also want it to be super effective to trigger a policy and trigger your steam engine. You could also just get hit by a fire-type attack, I guess, and make that a weakness policy move. I'm not sure what you would have to...
The downside is there's no priority fire moves,
yeah,
right?
like, I'm not sure what you would want to do there, so you'll have to figure it out. Flapple, Appleton...
They both suck.
Appleton's much better than Flapple, in my opinion.
I want Flapple to be so good.
Like, Appleton at least gets, like, thick fat.
Whereas, we get,
Hustle.
I mean, Hustle's not bad.
But you're a Flapple, and you want to be able to hit your moves.
That's besides the point, okay?
Like, Flapple was good with Dynamax, and Appleton could just be a Pokemon on its own. Sandaconda. I hear you like weather Pokemon.
I mean, yeah, but, like...
It's not very good.
You get Shed Skin, so you can do Shed Skin rest things.
That's kind of cute.
It's about all I got, but...
Barraskewda.
He also has really good defense. I didn't realize how good his defenses were.
Barraskewda, probably the fastest Pokemon in the game.
It's at least better than Floatzel.
Yeah. Floatzel's in Seed.
Yeah, I think it's the fastest. Based on what we know. Base 136 is heckin' fast, man.
Yeah.
It's faster than Dragapult, right?
Yeah.
No, Dragapult's 142.
Dragapult's 142. It's with Swift Swim. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. Toxtricity does Boom Burst things.
Yeah, but you just aren't fast enough or strong enough to
sucks.
really...
It has a 4x weakness that is really common. Even, like, changing your type probably isn't enough. Your defenses aren't good.
Poltegeist probably isn't very good.
Yeah, you get to Shell Smash, but that's about it. Hattering's really good.
Hattering seems really decent. Again, this is another one of those really strong Trick Room setters, immune to taunt. So if you have Fake Out Protection, this thing pretty much gets a Trick Room up guaranteed outside of against Imprison. Grimmsnarl, if this thing is in the game, we're not 100% certain yet. I feel like this thing's probably a solid A.
I hate Grimmsnarl so much, man.
I mean, just tear it in the dark and you ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah. That by itself does knock it from S to A.
That and
Berserker's
screens aren't going to be as
fine.
important. Screens are going to be nowhere near as important. Berserker's a fine C Pokemon. Phalanx is D.
Pincurchin sucks.
Frostmoth is probably
sucks.
D. Being able to tear a Frostmoth later on down the line with Ice Scales will probably be cool, but...
Stonejourner might actually have some kind of, like, niche use.
I think it's a solid C. Ice Cube, get out of here.
Ice Cube's really bad. Indeed's amazing.
Indeedee female is going to be amazing. Indeedee male's just tagged on there for the ride.
Fine.
Copperage is not very good.
Shout out to Blunder for making this thing absurd on Showdown.
Yep.
Also, shout outs to Blunder for hitting 100k.
There you go. Dragapult, fastest Pokemon in the game. Probably a solid S tier pick still.
Yep, still very, very good. Alright, Gen 8 plus Pokemon.
Weird Deer. This is the evolution of Stantler from Pokemon Legends Arceus. This thing has access to Trick Room. It is normal and psychic type. It'll probably be really, really strong as a Trick Room Pokemon because it's able to set and use it and do all that fun stuff.
I had to learn how to spell it.
Wyrdeer.
103 HP is really good. 72, 75 defenses. Again, this is kind of a Pokemon that suffers from like having multiple good attack stats.
Yep. Cleavor, probably a solid B tier pick.
You know why Cleavor is good?
Why?
It's so the Scyther can carry Eviolite.
Scyther already could.
That's the joke.
No, like
what is
Cleavor,
our ability? We get Sheer Force.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, like Cleavor, it being Rock Bug is what's cool. I believe you're weak to. You have like Rock Bug's a really good typing like overall for Bug in general because
hold on, this thing is sick.
Like you have neutral ground type attacks, neutral fighting type attacks. You're weak to steel. You're weak to fire. Weak to water. Weak to not weak to grass because Bug resists grass, but like it's got really good typing. Sheer Force is really good. The question is going to come down to like making sure that you can just not die to a ham sandwich. Because if I remember right, your defenses aren't that. Your special defense kind of lacks.
Yeah, it's probably not great.
Like 135 attack, 70 HP, 95 defense, 70 special defense, 85 speed. Like this is a Pokemon that's got really good design because it's not losing a bunch of its base stats to special attack.
Correct.
But
plus, like you can just slap an assault vest on this thing and it's suddenly very good.
Yeah, like this. That's
for some reason it gets Calm Mind.
Weird.
Stone Edge, Rock Slide, X Scissor, Aerial Ace, Rock Smash, Silver Wind, Close Combat. There we go. That's a natural attack.
Ursaluna, normal ground, another unique typing here. Very, very bulky, very, very strong. Let's Ursaring carry Eviolite if you want to do that.
Which is the real reason that this thing is good.
Base 130 HP, base 140 attack, base 105 defense, base 80 special defense, base 50 speed, base 45 special attack. Another one of these Pokemon that is designed really, really well in its total base stats. Also retains Guts.
So Ursaring notably, with Eviolite is bulkier. You lose 40 HP, which is really relevant, but you gain a bunch of special defense because you're 75 versus 80. Your defense is 75 versus 105. Your attack is 130 compared to 140.
Yeah, like that was the thing. Like that's why Ursaluna lets Ursaring carry Eviolite, and that's going to be really good.
You're mono normal as opposed to normal ground. It's like you have less weaknesses and like a better typing, in my opinion.
The thing is now you're stuck carrying Eviolite to be bulky,
which is very true. So you lose like Guts.
You lose
so
what makes like Ursaring good. Yeah. And so Ursaluna gets to be that Guts Pokemon instead now.
It's probably okay. I mean, I'm excited to see it under Trick Room.
This is another really good.
I gotta look it up.
So Basculegion, its abilities are Adaptability, Rattled, and Mold Breaker. For the male one, for the red one.
Are they different?
Yes, just like the other Basculin are different. Basculegion are also different.
Okay.
Oh, I guess the abilities aren't changing on them. Female is the blue one. Male's the red, female's the blue. Their base stats are different. The female one is more of a special attacker. The male one is more of a physical attacker. Both have base 120 HP, 65 defense, 75 special defense, and then 78 speed.
I mean, the fact that its special attack as a female is pretty dang close to its attack is really disappointing. Like, if they just flopped their attack and special attack, I would have been really happy with this thing, but...
Yeah.
Mm.
So the idea here is you play adaptability with the male Basculegion using that base 112 attack. You can kind of run people over. Water Ghost is a really cool typing, and while you're kind of middling in your speed, your 112 attack and your 120 HP really kind of push you over the top. Sneasler, not that great. Not my favorite Pokemon in the game.
Sneasler's great because it lets Sneasel hold Eviolite.
Fun fact, the Hisuian Sneasel is not that great either.
Oh, I actually forgot that it had a Hisuian form too.
Yep.
What are our abilities?
The
Pressure
trade-off,
and Poison Touch. Interesting.
your base stats are really cool. Base 80 HP, base 130 attack, 60 defense, 40 special attack, 80 special defense, 120 speed.
120 speed's a lot.
Yeah, it's just you don't have an ability.
I mean, Poison Touch is cool.
Fighting Poison is kind of a cool typing. Like, it shares typing with Krogunk, which
I wish this thing was Ice Poison.
Yeah,
I don't think it'd be better, but I wish it was Ice type.
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
probably a solid C
sucks.
tier. Like,
Yeah.
you do our base 120 speed. We don't know the move pool per se, but it's going to be really strong probably, just like physically. Overquill. This is another weird one. So
you get Swift Swim.
This is poison and dark.
You get Swift Swim with base 115 attack, base 85 speed.
Yeah. The big thing here
I'm
is
really excited for this as a Swift Swimmer.
the other big thing is this is Intimidate.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really like 85 HP, 95 defense, 65 special defense, 85 speed, 115 attack. So you have multiple ways to play Overquill. Like, this is a really good like rain abuser because, like I said, it has Swift Swim. You can play Intimidate if you need it to be Intimidate. It's probably on par, I would say, with Barraskewda as like a rain abuser. But
The
Intimidate is why it's
Swift
good.
Swim user that's not a water type is really good.
Dark Poison means you're only weak to ground.
Correct, which you can also correct. Like, yeah, this thing's really cool.
Like, that's a really good typing. Like, being only weak to ground is fine. And that's it. We did it.
All right, that's it. Let's go home. I'm ready for dinner. I am very hungry. I feel like we've been recording for like 7 hours. Oh man, I almost asked like halfway through if you wanted to make this a part 3.
No, not quite.
But yeah, this has been very entertaining. I'm very excited for people to tell us why we're bad at this. And then in 3 months, people will be like, oh, maybe those guys know what they're talking about.
Maybe. Okay. Well, let's get on out of here then.
I agree. Let's get on out of here so we can go eat and you can try to not catch your house on fire. People are going to be really confused because we're not giving context to that.
Nope, I ain't got time. It's 2 hours already. People gave up and left by now.
So, as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're listening over here on YouTube. If you're listening on any of the audio platforms, of course, we have the video version up on Spotify as well. But, go check out the YouTube stuff. It's really good. And, Carl does a fantastic job editing and making everything look as fancy as possible. Let's see. On the way out, of course, you can go follow us on Twitter at LR Lessons, myself at Mr. Missouri 25, Carl's at Musical VGC. You can also go follow us on Twitch at Mr. Missouri 25 and at Musical. Past that, you can always come hang out with us on the amazing, amazing Discord server where you get to hang out with us and, just have a generally good time. Of course, we're going to have events starting back up here in a few months once Sword and Shield gets out, and it's going to be just fantastic. Let's see. Go ahead and go check out the website at lrlessons.com. You can go ahead and check out the merch page while you're over there and pick up some sweet, sweet merch. But if that's not your thing, you can always go over to Anchor and support us there financially as well for as little as 20 or 25 cents an episode. Yep. That sounds like everything.
I think you hit it all.
Cool. And with that being said, everyone, have a fantastic week. We will see you later. Have a good one. Peace.